D-Man posts a video. Entire comment section. Oh my god, is that a mustache? And that's the current state of this channel. What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla Vs Kong. I was about to say King of the Monsters. What world am I living in? We're doing another Godzilla Vs Kong discussion video, and today, what is the topic? We are going to be talking about who is Alexander Skarsgard's character. Also, before we begin, yeah, the videos on this channel have been sporadic and all over the place. It's because I've been working on that big video that I don't know if this video is coming out before or after that one. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get that video out November 3rd, but oh my god, it's November 2nd right now, and I've got a long way to go in terms of I've got 5 movies left to download, convert, and then edit with, which takes a long time. Also, I got my hands on this bad boy. Oh my god. It's the Criterion Collection Godzilla Blu-ray set. I will maybe do a review for this. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what I decide to do once I check it all out, once I read it all, once I watch all the movies. Got all the discs here. I'm happy that this thing exists, but I'm not quite sold on this size yet. I mean, my brother's really into it. He's like, as a collector myself, I think it's awesome. Personally, for me, I've got nowhere to put this, and so it's like, it's just kind of stashed in between my hard drive and my computer at the moment. But it is really nice, and I'm happy that it exists. Fingers crossed that we can get the rest of the Heisei and Millennium era like that. Maybe in a bit smaller of a size, but still. All right, let's get into the topic of discussion for today. Starting out, Alexander Skarsgard. I've got links down below to some sources that you guys can check out that we will be covering. Let's run through some possibilities of who on earth Skarsgard is, starting with the number one most obvious thing that Alexander Skarsgard may be. So the number one most obvious thing that Alexander Skarsgard's character might be going into Godzilla vs Kong is simply a Monarch worker. There's a lot of evidence to support this. Starting out, we have already seen this movie in production and filming. We saw them filming some sort of crash site scene, probably set on Skull Island, and it would appear that some sort of Osprey helicopter or plane, depending on what you want to call it, they switch between both modes. I don't know which one it primarily is, but an Osprey crashes on Skull Island, presumably, and his character and it looks like a few others come out of that helicopter, or maybe they're investigating a crashed helicopter. We don't totally know. Either way, point is, we've already seen them filming this movie, and he was one of the 2 main characters we saw on set. It was him and Is Gonzalez, who we will be talking about in the next Godzilla vs Kong news and updates. Yeah, so we've already seen him running around set. He is in this weird orange jumpsuit with these patches on him, and these patches are armor, and they are engraved with the Monarch logo. So he is with Monarch, and Is Gonzalez wears ones too. So both of them are with Monarch going into this movie, or at least that's what they are appearing as. Specifically him, he's the topic of the video, so we won't worry about her, but he is appearing to be a Monarch member. We've always had a Monarch member at the forefront of these movies, and supposedly, I'm not sure I believe this, but supposedly Alexander Skarsgard character will be the main character in Godzilla vs Kong. The reason I don't believe that is because we do have the returning characters of Kyle Chandler's character and Madison Russell. I don't know why I couldn't just say Mark and Madison Russell. We have Mark and Madison Russell returning, so I don't think that these new characters are going to take the forefront over those guys. I think those 2 will be the main characters of this movie. Anyways, we've always had a Monarch member at the forefront of one of these movies, even if they haven't been the main character, as was the case with Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island. We've always had Monarch as a heavy presence in the Monsterverse, so I think it'd be safe to say that he is probably at least wearing the Monarch jumpsuit, but he might be with Monarch, just a general Monarch worker. Things to go along with that are quotes from Alexander Skarsgard himself, where he specifically talks about what his role in this movie is. Here are some quotes. We'll read them out and then talk about them. He's a geologist who works closely with Kong. First of all, that's pretty interesting. Geologist, I'm assuming because he's studying the Hollow Earth, so that's probably why he's a geologist. He works closely with Kong because he's working on Skull Island, which is a Hollow Earth entry point. I think the Hollow Earth is going to be a major point in this new movie. And then now let's get back to the quote. He says, "What I like about my character is that he's terrified. He's not brave. He's not equipped to be a leader or a hero, and he enters this adventure very reluctantly. I find that pretty interesting. I'm assuming it's because he gets thrust into it, something goes wrong while he's working with Kong on the island, and now he's like, well, I guess I'm going with the flow now. Skarsgard said that he tried playing dark characters in the past and wanted something different, which is why he took this role. He says that his new character is very likable. He's supposedly not a hero, not an ex-Marine. He's just a geologist who's out of place, and that's why we root for him, is because he's kind of an underdog. He's an unlikely hero in that sense, and they were totally cool to reshape the role once Skarsgard took it so that he could do all sorts of new things with it. So that's all the information he's given us. And I don't know if we can 100% trust him, because there might be a bit of a twist involved with his character. They might be trying to hide the fact that he's a bad guy, or maybe we can take what he's saying at face value. He is just this worker who's kind of put in this situation. The reason I only think that he might be lying to us is because when they were filming the movie, we see him knocking someone else out or attacking someone else, punching them, and he's very aggressive in most of his pictures. I suppose that could just be a result of him being scared. You know, he's in this situation where he's now forced to go along with everything that's going on. You know, he's been dragged into this conflict, and it's just way above him. It's way more than he was ever asking for. That could be the case, I suppose, yes, and that could be why he's irritable and why he attacks another Monarch worker. Or he could be attacking another Monarch worker because he isn't a hero. He isn't this ex-Marine or whatever. He's a bad guy. He is an evil character. Although Skarsgård says he doesn't want to play any more dark characters, I don't think you have to be necessarily a dark character to be a villain. Look at Emma Russell. She was an evil character, but she's also not the villain of Godzilla King of the Monsters. She turns around, she has a redemption, and she's also kind of morally right in a lot of senses. So I don't think you have to be the villain or to be like pure evil to be the villain, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that could be where he falls into something of a gray zone, and that would give him a reason to attack another Monarch worker, is because he is this opposing force to Monarch. But I do think that the strongest possibility of what he is going into this movie is he is a Monarch worker. He is just this geologist working for Monarch, and what Skarsgård is telling us is in fact the truth. We also know, based off the plot synopsis for this movie, there will be a human conflict in the film, some sort of human threat, so that could also be where he plays into if he's a villain. Again, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth because it is hard to speculate given how little information we know about this movie, but with the things that Skarsgård has said, if we're going to take them at face value, he is a hero. But what if he's not? Let's talk about the possibility of him being a villain. Already we've talked about him being overly aggressive when they film. You can see a lot of the pictures, he just looks angry. We also have footage of him attacking someone, which again, it could be nothing. We have many heroes attack other heroes or other people or working with them for various reasons. Maybe the guy he's attacking is a total dick. We don't know because we have no context. It's just the idea that first impressions are the most lasting. This was our first impression of Alexander Skarsgård's character, is that he's attacking someone who works for Monarch. So that is why a lot of us went into the film with this preconceived notion, we haven't gone into the film yet, but we are going into the marketing with a preconceived notion that he might be a bad guy. And just what might he be? There's a lot of possibilities for that. I've seen some speculation that he's going to be Alan Jonah's son. I'm going to just say right now that's not the case. There's no indication that Alan Jonah has a son, not in Godzilla King of the Monsters, not in the novelization. Nowhere is there any indication of that. I've also seen a lot of rumors that Asher from Godzilla King of the Monsters was Alan Jonah's son. That again is not the case, as confirmed by the Godzilla King of the Monsters novelization. Asher is just someone who Alan picked up along the way. So I don't think he's going to be Alan Jonah's son. However, he could still be connected to Alan Jonah's group in some way, shape, or form. I think he could be a terrorist or a spy very easily. Once again, first impressions, he attacks a Monarch worker. Him working closely with Kong and dealing with Monarch, that gives me the idea that he's a spy embedded in Monarch, and he is trying to uncover what they're doing. Maybe he's the one who sets off this human plot. I mean, just like Emma Russell, she worked for Monarch. She had a change of heart and decided to become evil. And in the novelization for Godzilla King of the Monsters, there are a lot of other people who go through a similar conflict. Once Emma Russell decides to make her big speech and is like, hey, the mass awakening is happening. Once she does that, there are a lot of other ramifications to that. For instance, there's someone at the Behemoth facility who winds up killing some guards and basically sabotaging the whole thing so that Behemoth can get out, because this girl also agrees with Emma Russell. This character, Alexander Skarsgard's character could be someone who's sympathetic towards Emma Russell's cause. So yeah, he works closely with Kong. I find that interesting because Skarsgard says that his character doesn't have the tools to deal with the Titan, which I don't think that'd be the case. I think if he were truly a Monarch worker, he would not only be prepared to deal with the Titans, but he would have much more of an understanding of them, and he would have much more of an ability to cope with them and handle them. I just don't think that he wouldn't have the tools to handle it. You know, this is taking place in 2020. This is a very well-funded Monarch at the top of their game. They have been through a lot at this point. He is going to be well-trained. He's going to know what he's doing. I don't think he's going to be this cowardly, unheroic character, especially if he's dealing with Kong directly. That probably means he's living on the island, which means there's loads of external threats that he's going to be dealing with constantly. I don't believe for a second that if he works on Skull Island, he's going to be unprepared, unless he's like a newbie, you know, unless he's just starting out. I just don't see it. I feel like he is intentionally underselling himself, intentionally underselling his character, because that might be what the character is doing in the movie. You know, it might be a big ruse. He might be underselling himself. He is presented as this character who's kind of incompetent and is afraid and doesn't know how to deal with anything he's dealing with. And then he has this little bit of a twist where he's like, oh, it's because I'm kind of intentionally making you lower your expectations so that he can pull the rug out from under us. That could also be the case. I don't know. Again, it's hard to say because it does seem like Skarsgård is genuine when he talks about, yeah, I want to play a character who's a lot more sympathetic and who is a lot more likable and isn't a dark character, but at the same time, it just seems a little absurd that a character this well integrated with Monarch and this connected to Kong wouldn't be prepared to deal with a situation like this. And I think the fight could be the turning point where it's revealed that maybe he is a bad guy or something like that. I don't know. The final possibility is one pitched by David Hernandez, aka Gorizard. I don't believe this theory, but I think it's entertaining and worth talking about, and that is that this is Steve Martin. This is the character we learned about from the Godzilla King of the Monsters end credits. He is a reporter. Steve Martin, he's embedded with Monarch. He is there on the island. That explains his lack of tools and abilities, is because he doesn't have the skills to deal with any of it because he's not working for Monarch, he's working with them. This would also make him a much more unlikely hero, and it would explain how he still knows about the Titans without being overly knowledgeable about them. In the reporter angle, it's a staple of the Godzilla franchise up to this point, so it'd be nothing new. The only reason I'm going to say this isn't the case is because Skarsgård himself says his character's a geologist, and in my experience, geologists aren't typically also reporters, so I don't think he'd be a geologist slash reporter, and that would be his character motivation going into the movie. I don't think he's like, maybe he's a geologist or a reporter in the sense that he's investigating the Hollow Earth, and that's why he's a geologist. I don't know. I feel like if that were the case, Skarsgård would have given us some indication of that. I'm not totally sure. But it's a cool theory. It'd be really cool to see happen in the movie as well. So I like that, and I wanted to talk about it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Alexander Skarsgård's going to be a villain, or do you think he's going to be a hero? Do you think he's telling the truth when he says he wanted to play likable characters and that this is a likable character? Or do you think he's trying to mislead us? Do you think he's trying to hide the fact that his character is going to be an Emma Russell version stand-in for this movie? I don't know. Like another Monarch worker who has this change in faith almost and goes, yeah, well, the Titans are kind of gods, so we should maybe let them be God. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe he's totally different. Maybe he's like, yeah, well, humanity is a thing worth protecting, and these Titans are definitively killing us. We need to kill them because we, the humans, need to survive. That could be another way they play at the sympathy angle, while also putting him at odds with Monarch, of him being like, the Titans just need to die, and that's just the way it's got to be, because we do know from the plot synopsis that the human threat is not only a human threat to the humans, but is a human threat to the Titans as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Once again, guys, let me know what you guys think down below. I will see y'all next time for the next one. D-Man out.